Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the live FB. And tonight we're going to be coming with you on another quite interesting topic. In my opinion, we will be talking about bottom fishing. Now, I do know that some of you have some stocks you wanted me to look at. We will get to it right at the end of it, so make sure you stay right to the end. Of course, today we also have a special reward for some of those of you who will stay on to the end of this live FB. Probably we should finish in about 40-45 minutes. We will have a prize money for those of you who want to participate on this campaign. That's right, something for those of you who has been regularly following our live FB at facebook.com/MartinTFWong, something to reward you for your effort. Of course, do share this in your timeline, and we really appreciate, and then we do hope that you will learn something tonight from what we have shared with you so far in here. Of course, this is our normal disclaimer in here. And tonight, the topic for our live FB will be to find reversal with bottom fishing. That's right, bottom fishing. We all know the market after it closed today also sell off by another 21 points. This is also due to the big fallout that we see on CPO prices, and crude oil came crushing down because of the fear of the recession. However, on the US side, that continued to be positive in here. What would this method reversal to look for bottom fishing method will take into place? Let's go on and let's not waste more time, where I'll share with you some of the intake. Now, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube on TradeVSA, on youtube.com/TradeVSA, to get all our video tutorial updated in here. And of course, this is the continuation of our educational series that we do every Wednesday for our members and for our public. If you are members, some of these information we have archived and take some of the most important one in the knowledge center of the VSA 360. So make sure you check out the VSA 360. There we will share with you some of what we call the evergreen technique that you can use to make the best out of VSA 360. After all, you have subscribed to VSA 360 and also Smart Robie, and you intend to make money out from it. And let me remind you, that's what we wanted to do here. Of course, tonight is the first of the July series talk that we have, and first one is how to find, which is here. Let me just switch to my laser pointer here, and how to find reversal with bottom fishing. And then next week we have either myself or my colleague Zach will talk about 2 ways to follow smart money activity, sector rotation, where is the money going, and how to profit with smart money footprint. This has always been our theme in here, detecting smart money movement with TradeVSA for this month of July. All right, of course, now let's get on to the main issue in here. Now, you always wanted to make money, especially in this bear market. Does it apply to you? If it does apply to you, this will definitely make sense. There are many opportunities out there. So most common people would always try to make money by averaging down, right? Because, you know, but when you average down, you heard about those people who traded during the year 2020 on averaging now on the rubber glove stock. I think there was a big disaster they realized, and I think some of you may have learned from that, but you don't want to risk so much of it, but you don't even know how to average down. But wait, there is a better method, right? And the method is, if you continue to average down, it's like catching a falling knife, which is, I find that very painful, isn't it? The price, you buy it at 50 cents, you go down to 40 cents, you go down to 30 cents, you continue to buy and buy. It's like, you know, being in a wrecking train, and the feeling and of losing money. I can understand that. This is something previously in our Dr. Gary's session in our masterclass, we did talk about the strong emotion. And for those of you, please make sure you refer back to those notes in here. And for those of you who are listening for the first time, do type in there one, so we know that some of these you'll be able to catch up and eventually join our TradeVSA community. Now, a better, more advanced method is actually doing bottom fishing, and that's why we want to discuss this tonight in here. It's a better reward over risk, and it gets very interesting, as I share with you in here. Pretty easy. Of course, right now in the bear market right now, there isn't much trade, but if there is one, certainly it will pop one of these alert sooner to you in here. And thank you for sharing in this in your timeline, and give me a thumbs up if you're doing a good job too. All right, Now, how do I filter off those shares that are at the market bottom, or since we are talking about bottom fishing? Do I go to the scoreboard or to the stock quote and look for them here? Now, take note, many times some of these stocks is already run, right? So by the time they run, you buy it the next day, you end up to be falling, right? So that doesn't really make sense. So this, you need a special tools and a special skill. And that's where VSA 360, which is what we are talking about tonight in here, are talking about. So we are previously in our Friday show and also on our Monday show, we talk about the Smart Robie, but specifically for the VSA 360, we talk about stock screener in here. We have many others benefits in here, but tonight will just be the stock screener. If you have not used it yet, you will have a chance to register for our 10-day free trial worth $288 with a half an hour training from our senior trainer Zach Lim in here. So make sure you make good use of the 10-day free trial in here, and you will see many of this are really prime for trading and for getting into the bottom of the market. So let's get on to the stock screening. I know there's a lot of screener out there. What makes it unique is the screener that we create from our team are from the coaches by myself for you specifically, where you yourself is also a trader. By trader, for trader. I think that's really one. We have a group of also developers and coders who are also trader developing all these tools. That makes it very different and very more responsive to the needs of you as a trader in here. If you are not using this, something for you to consider in here. So the VSA 360 using Pentagon Guider as an entry point. So in today's sharing, first of all, let's talk about the VSA 360 Pentagon. Now we all know bottom fishing is definitely a strategy that you are buying at the potential bottom. Now potential bottom can be misleading, isn't it, right? Sometimes people say, is it the bottom? No, it will go even lower, right? And how low can it get? So that's where I do my morning podcast. So if you're not join my Telegram group in here, where I have a morning podcast every Monday, Wednesday and Friday, giving you couples of clues where the market is heading and what likely action should you take as a trader, as an investor in here. And definitely in the same context, catching a falling knife, my message to you is don't average down. All right, don't average down. Even how painful is it, don't average down. I know you don't want to cut losses, but if you have gone through some of those material that we talk about by Dr. Gary in the masterclass, you will know this in the long run will not benefit you in here. You need to survive. Remember, tough times don't last. Tough people do. So are you tough enough to last it here? I've been in this market for the last 20 years and I've survived every year in managing money, doing a bit of short-term trading, and I do hope some of my experience over the past 20 years can be passed on to you. Of course, those of you who are members, definitely the insights will be shared within in our special group in here. Now, with regards to the bottom fishing in here, we are saying that the price continued to reduce and resulting a loss. So that's why trading plans, risk management is important. Now, we always advocate buying on a green pentagon. So you have to wait for that green pentagon in there. And of course, to obtain the green pentagon is freely available on the Smart Robie. You can also download a copy from the Google and Apple apps in here. And make sure you turn on to the monthly subscription. The monthly subscription that will enable you to see many things during the daytime, right, where you're able to see the intraday alert. Now, of course, there's also target price that we have in our Smart Robie and also our VSA. Now remember, the bottom fishing, in my opinion, are more suited for medium to advanced user. All right, so if you're a beginner, you just stick to a pure beginner strategy, just trading on that one. And how do you differentiate in here? Just wait for 2 more minutes. We will get down to your question here. Now, of course, right now the KLCI market is going through many volatility as you've seen right now. Today breaking another 20 point, upping at 1420. Will we break even to the 1400 in one beyond the 1400? Early on I said that the 1430, that support need to hold, but it looks like the metal is down, a lot of the commodity is down. That means almost the large cap of our market KLCI will also be impacted in here. But if the US market were to recover, there are some opportunities, especially those of you who are trading the put and call warrant by my fellow coaches Fu, and those of you who are attending their structured put and call warrant, be ready for a great seminar of the 1 day, which is happening on the 16th of July. The seats are running fast now. We only left about a few seats. If you're interested, contact our help desk or contact Zach on our telephone number that you see scrolling below in here. All right. So on this premise, facts on bottom fishing. Now, we've done a lot of research as well as doing a lot of back testing before we release it to our users. I think that's one of the great benefits, is utilize on our experience and our skills on testing a lot of the model before we release it. Now, of course, if you go to YouTube and any of a leader, the question is, will that system be fully back tested? What is the expected value in there, and how experienced is the what we call course leader or the coach talking about in here? Very important that these things need to be spelled out. Now, of course, many of you who has been following us would know that bottom fishing, we really want to be trading at what we call the end of the accumulation stage, which is the stage 1, where we again are emphasizing on smart money are ready to move higher. That's right. So once they've been doing lots of enough accumulation, they're ready to mark higher. They would. But at the midst of what we're seeing right now, this market volatility that we've seen on the KLCI as well as the Dow Jones, many of these stocks fail to move beyond the 20 or 30% price gain. So usually if you do get about 10-15%, I think for the target price, that's pretty decent, and something that I would like to show to you in here. Now, also fact number 2 is the bottom fishing method is riding on the next business cycle recovery. Of course, this is usually touch base with the economic reopening, as we've seen with the post-COVID shutdown that we have, and right now economy are opening in here. Travel, airlines, those are tend to be doing well. So if those stocks coming into the bottom criteria, then you want to use it. So pay attention to the criteria of the bottom fishing, which I would be sharing you with this one. Then thirdly is the reversal to the mean, right, for the financial economic growth. And right now, this eventually, of course, eventually, things will always reverse back to growth. And one of the things that we're trying to tackle right now is inflation. This will be a slow way, but of course, stock prices always move ahead of any of the financial reporting that you see. And through our back testing, we have found out bottom fishing has a very low risk. Okay, if you're advanced trader. For beginners, they're a little bit more fact holding in here, and you are able to win up about 75% on the very good trend, as we can see, and potentially most target price for each of the trade are giving you a 20 to 30% potentially in here. Okay, so what are the tools that is needed for fishing in here? As you can see here, this is a picture. Of course, definitely knowledge and skill, and something which is we are trying to pass this knowledge to you, to those of you who are members who are watching this in here. We are passing this skill to you in here, and the tools that you needed is the VSA 360 tools that we have in here. And of course, through our Telegram support and our members chat, we are putting up a knowledge center in our VSA 360 where you can view some of these slides and tutorials that will help you in here. Of course, here is where the coaches will correct your mistakes. Now remember, money lost in the stock market through bad mistakes is not something that you want to continue to do that on a regular basis. The amount of time and money invested, I think you can get a better return for the cost that you are put in. Many people resort to doing them themselves, but eventually realizing that it is a very tedious and costly because no guidance in here. Now, of course, we want to look at the market structure. Where are the market structure located in here? Right, knowledge skills is one thing. Tools, the VSA 360 provide that tools, and the coaches tonight we will share with you. Now, looking in this market structure in here, first of all, we want to see the overall market bottoming first. So this is where let me just switch on to my pen here. Okay, So first of all, we want to have this, what we call stop the previous trend. So the downtrend is coming down, all right? So there's an opposing force coming up, so which means we usually see high volume. This high volume will stop the downtrend and the market start to move sideways and then going through what we call the ranging consolidation, which you see here, right? The consolidation will have two sides. The top part will be the resistance and the bottom will be the support. This can go on depending on what is the background, the building of the cost. So like for example, right now we have the Ukraine-Russian war, but at the same time, we also have stimulus coming from Bank Negara, and also remember earlier on, the couple of months ago, all prices were high. They were able to support. So this is where we see this continuous up range movement in here. And then finally, are waiting for that what we call a Q. This would what we call a shakeout, right? This shakeout usually comes in because when the market is ready, they'll do always a shakeout, then the market goes up in here, right? So that is the cue for you to go in. Many times we could have gone in here and here or here, but so that's why between this range, we can get about 10 to 15%, which is fine. We can get it. Sometimes we get 20% gain, and that's the whole point we want to do it. And I'll show you how we're going to do that too. So, but if the market were to revert back what we call a stage 4, stage 1, and then resumption of a stage 2, this is the larger trend overall. When our KLCI market can break through the what we call the 1440, the green pentagon has come. Now remember 4 or 5 days ago in the podcast I talked about the stage 1 changing of the green pentagon, but I think today with the 20 points drop, the market has already resorted back to red pentagon, not that bullish as I've seen before. So you can see from here what are the things that we have drawn off, okay? And so let me just go on to the next slide here. So this is my entry point, right? Immediately after the shakeout that we see here. Okay, let me just label this as a shakeout. And then we will see, of course, if the market were to resumption back, we can see this rocket ship going higher and higher and higher. That's always the perfect entry with the perfect kind. We did have many of this pattern working up very fine, but because of the market volatility, we do recommend right now, especially if you are medium to advanced, try to take profit at the resistance. Okay, this is where you are. If you have sometimes maybe less than 10%, you have to do it, but at least your reward to risk will be better because you stand a chance of winning around the 70 to 75% gain in here. All right, so keep that in mind. Now we're going to be looking at the criteria. So this is something that you can use it and pair together with the VSA 360. Number one is to use the Pentagon Guider with the bottom fishing screener, and I'll show you to that in here. So if you are beginner started off, you may only want to trade when the Pentagon Guider is green for the KLCI. I do think tonight when the market closed, we are getting a red Pentagon, so there's no trading in here, right? And if you are medium to advanced user, there's no limit because you're much more experienced. You can do better chart reading, better estimation, better trading plan, which is part and parcel what we always want to develop, many of you out there. Next is the 200-day moving average must be flat or inclining. Okay, the 200-day moving average must be flat and not descending. And this is what we are saying, the slope of the 200-day moving average. The big takeaway from here is buying stock below the 200-day moving average. Okay, so you want to be flat out or slightly, if it's slightly sloping down, it's around -5 and -6, right? Not too slope, anything more than maybe -8, -7, that's the one below that. I suppose you don't want to be trading because the trend continues to go down in here. Okay, use the bottom fishing options, which I'm going to share with you in here. Look on the left hand side, look for the double bottom or shakeout pattern. Now if you go back previously in here, this is what we are looking for, a double bottom in here. If you were to be trading here 1 and 2, here is what we call a shakeout pattern. So if you're buying it here, this is the shakeout pattern here, double bottom in here. All right, more examples as I go on in here. Then we want to have the 20 and 40 moving average railway track upwards. So through this set of pattern criteria, we will only buy best of the best. All right, we only buy best of best, so which means really narrow out in here. And also number 5, we want to avoid the Pentagon guider. If it's a widespread bar on the green Pentagon with usually more than 8 or 10 points in here, we want to avoid it because these are climatic distribution bars. So a lot of the common system that you see out there, they will buy on 15% gain, especially the beginners who is very keen to cash in there. If you do get a 15% gain, 80% of the time, the next day it will reverse. Only few times when you get it. So a lot of the beginners get caught into not able to read chart. So that's why chart reading is very important, especially those of you in the VSA type world in here. Now, number 6, the stock price is flattening out like accumulation. Okay, the stock price is flattening out. These are the patterns that you want to see. Do come back and take a look at this eventually in the video in here. Price bar, when you want to buy, must close above the 20 moving average. Okay, that is your entry point. So if this is your 20-day moving average, the bar must close above in here. All right, and then you enter on the next day. All right, next day on the opening prices in here. For advanced users, you can wait for the market to break back out after, but must be less than 10 bars, which means green Pentagon next day. Okay, you since the market is going down, you don't want to trade it, you wait for it, can also, but you must know how to handle chart reading bar by bar. All right, but for simplicity, enter the next day on the price opening. Of course, better pairing will comes when you pair together with the KLSE sector analysis. Time again, right? When we do pair those, especially like the consumer sector that you see here, or the REITs or the Telegram utility, your odds are better. As you can see, the last week trend and this week trend here, you can see these are the one that that is a change in trend. Telemedia, which is communication, has turned, and B is the benchmark, which is the KLCI composite. Now on the right hand side of here, on the right of the benchmark, you will notice finance were previously positive, now has turned red. We got energy turning slightly better. Last week healthcare significantly turned up compared to last week, right? And then we got industrial product. Property has turned slightly better, but it is still, again, a comparison to the KLCI, still doing much more worse. So we want to use those sectors on the left hand side and then rank them. Of course, first preference, if the charts candidate that comes out, we want to make sure that it is actually consumer, REITs or telemedia or utilities. All right, so pair together. Now this is the new VSA 360. You will notice first thing, there is a drop down box. We have a default value in there, but we have 3 other stock strategy in here. Bottom fishing, which we put medium to advanced user. That's why we said this one is more suitable for the medium advanced user. Stage 1 to stage 2 is for beginners, BG, and above stage 2, okay, above stage 2 or mid stage 2 is for medium to advanced user, which means the market is traveling in the mid stage 2 shares, okay, mid stage 2 shares. Now let's take a look at the demo that we have for you in here, and of course those of you who already have the VSA 360, you can definitely use this in here. So first thing is, once you log in to our dashboard, right, and you go on to, all right, I think that's all. Okay, let's log in again here, switching back to 100%, and you go over to screener and you look for Pentagon Guider. All right, so Pentagon Guider, and what you want to do is just turn this up a bit, or if you just want to enlarge this, just click on the extend screen here and you get a full screen. That's right. So once you get a full screen, you will see the default here. That's the one. So this new strategy features varying the ST short-term and long-term in here that will give you the narrowing to the target of what we're trying to do in bottom fishing. Of course, one of the latest things we'll continue to update our chart is the bottom right hand side is the help file. So you can click on those help file in here. It will be an interactive tour. So we can start all over again. So this is a screener, VSA 360 screener in here. And we want to be looking for turnover that is above 250,000 for the KLSE and 5,000 lots for also for the KLSE. Now take note, this screener has for few other exchange in here. Of course, we also have the win rate. Now the win rate works by going back to the past. It's like a back testing. So you go back to 1 month, 1 week ago, and if you have picked those stocks comparing to the opening of the next day until last night closing, what would be the win rate, meaning the number of stock that was positive over of number of stock that actually went into it. All right, so you can see if there are 5 stocks being displayed, 3 of them are winners, so it's 3 out of 5. That will be a 60% win rate, and that's how we're going. Current date, which is today's date, will have 0 lah, because this is the stock screener picks up. You can go back as far back as 3 years ago, and again blue. Okay, let me just move this. You can see we are actually going down into there are about 19 items in here. So I'm just going to go down very quickly. Date with orange, meaning the orange pentagon. Date with a blue cell, it is a green pentagon in here. Of course, best result is we want to trade with a blue cell. All right. Then you have the stock exchange, the respective four exchange in here. We have Sharia compliance. FADIDO stands for fundamental analysis, looking to filter out those high quality dividend shares. These are growth shares with continued growth in EPS and return on equity. Then we also have the Pentagon guided trading portfolio criteria, which we actually run real money trading there. So when you click on that one, that will filter out shares that is above 50 cents, volume more than 5K, and turnover more than 500K. All right. Not to forget, this is the latest one that you see here. You can click. We have what we call the bottom fishing strategy, stage 1 to stage 2. Above stage 2 or mid stage 2, these are for medium now. Now, if you look from the definition, default means we have 0, 0. Default means the ST, the short-term trend, and the long-term trend, which you see in this column here, which is block out. If I can move that, no. Okay, now after these are what mean ST and LT, right? Short-term trend and long-term trend. Let me just bring this up again. Start. I will just continue here. So when you see that bottom fishing is stock that was beaten down recently, but for medium and advanced user. And then for beginners, we are having stage 1 going to stage 2 shares, and what we call mid stage 2 shares, who has been a bullish markup for some time. Then we also have the price range when you want to select maybe just 50 cents to $1. And then we also have the ST and LT parameters long in here. The codes. Okay, I think these are, this is the one that will have the definition. If it's greater than 2.5%, it is going to be green cell. All right, 2.5. If it's less than 2.5, it will be red cell, red color, and more than 15 will be a purple. The definition of that one here, right? The price, volume, turnover. We prefer most of it, at least a $250,000 ringgit in here. The sectors, and then this one is the price difference between the date, if you go back 1 month ago compared to the last trading date. All right, so that's the one. So from where we have here, we can also switch on to bottom fishing. Looks like we only have 1 share. All right, PM Holding. We will look at this when we come to it. All right, so if you go back to the 5th, right, and we will click submit, and we go on to bottom fishing here. You can see yesterday there were none in here. Okay, so that's just a quick demo in here. Going to show you a couple of back test results if we're going to go back in here. Now the case study will be looking at a couple of stocks. If you have some stocks you want to have, look at it, but we'll be looking in the month of May and June if we have found any bottom fishing trade. And the scope is actually back testing for the KLSE. Of course, very common we ask, some of you may ask, the US market back testing result will be announcing soon. So today we're just going to be covering the KLSE market here. So if you look back to at least 1 month ago, going back to 30th of May, okay, 30th of May, first one, if you switch on bottom fishing in here, so you just go back to 30th of May. This is just, let me show you how it works. You go back to 30th of May, start off at 30th of May, submit, right, and click on bottom fishing. You see you only have Jetson. All right, that's how we get the Jetson. So on the Jetson side, you can see our price below 47 cents. So you have to be an advanced trader because we prefer beginner or some of you who are less experienced to trade above 47 cents here. Then we have the good volume, okay, more than 5K, okay, 5K here. And also you can, the turnover is pretty good. Okay, let me just get, the turnover is good. You can see this turnover, we want to be above 250,000. And then finally we have the ST, because bottom fishing look for ST with a minimum of 0, long-term minimum of -15. So we are looking way below the 200 moving average, which means we are looking for a range between -15 and -5. So some of those stocks that don't fall within that will be excluded. So it is just a simple filter that we put in. So Jetson is approved. All right. So once you approve, then we apply those criteria we talk about first. Green Pentagon appeared to be below 200-day moving average. You can see here, this is the bar. So Pentagon is spotted on 23.5 cents on the 30th of May. So enter the next opening bar. So notice at this junction in here, the moving average is on the railway track still up. Market stages is above 0 here. You can see be above the 0 horizontal track, so it's ready to move on. And we did form a double bottom. You can see by the time Green Pentagon here, 1 and 2. So we have the double bottom. So that satisfied it in here. So after 4 bars, when it's ready, the right criteria, you can see market hit 32 cents on the 7th of June, giving it a 36% return. As I said before, potential returns are pretty good. 4 bars only, though that is potentially 1,800 ringgit from a $5,000 trade. Also, you will notice many times when the market break through above the 200-day moving average, that's where suddenly there's some sort of program trading. I do notice that. Program trading, anything that break through 200 moving average, people jump in and buy. So the key thing here is looking for those green pentagon before it turn or move above the 200 moving. That's where you want to capture the big alpha. You understand what I'm saying? If you do, give me a thumbs up, because we want to get in before the rest of the group. Most of them only trade when the market break below the 200-day moving average. So in this instance, for Jetson, we are able to capture this widespread bar, right? And that is already a 32%, giving you a $1,800 trade in here. Now, of course, you can go back to 30. So we started on 30th of May. We go to the next one, 31st. So we got to 31st May in here. You'll notice Falim, okay, has a volume of 567. So that's too low. So subsequently, the price is so below 47 cents. So you need to be a very a medium to advanced trader. And the turnover is too low, right? Too low volume is pretty easy to manipulate. All right. So you can see turnover of 13,000 only. You know, with small amount of money you can turn it. So this one, reject. We reject this one. So we reject this one. So nothing to trade lah. All right. So we go on to the 1st of June. So you can see every day I'm sort of backtracking, backtesting it here. You can see I got success and George Ken. All right. So of course, 47 cents, they are below 40, so suitable, but so it fits into it. Good volume, above more than 5K. Turnover is pretty good, greater than 250K, right? And the ST satisfied those criteria there. Right, so this one is approved. So let's take a look at success, the first one. You can see success was rejected. On this basis, you can see here, let me just come back to this chart. When it first turned green pentagon here on the 31st of May, okay? 31st of May will be this bar here. All right, you can see the moving average, the 20 and 40-day moving average is actually on a downtrend. All right, the downtrend. The MS was above the 0, so that's a good one. It did has a double bottom, right? But another point why we avoided this is because this bar here has moved more than 10%. You can see this is one of those widespread bars. Okay, widespread that move beyond that. So we would avoid success, and we keep our powder dry, so we wait for the next trade. Okay, and the next one is that's where we spotted it. All right, and you can see if you have bought it right earlier on, spotted here, the market actually hit less than 4%. Then the market turned back up. So you can see this sideways market success will be avoided. So by using those criteria given to you, you would have avoided it and not take this trade. All right. Now next one is George Ken, which also appeared on 31st of May. It is below the 200-day moving average. This is the track here. 2040 is pointing downwards. The market stages is above zero. You can see here. Above zero, but hit the danger line. So just take note. Every time you hit the danger, that doesn't mean you can't enter, but just be careful. Some of these stocks are posed to run up. They should not reverse. They should continue to run up and hit the bar up here. It has a double bottom, one here, another one here, right? But we avoided this because of the widespread bar. You can see a Pentagon bar greater than 10% here. So this one is rejected. On hindsight, you can see, we avoid the sell-off that we have. After when it broke through, as I said before, every time when you have this widespread bar that you see here, let me just bring out the laser pointer here. This is bar here, right? The 10%, the 11%, usually 3 or 4 days, it will lure, especially smart money again, will lure you in to buy and then sell down. You can see, because that's where they can push up higher to sell at the higher prices in here to you, unsuspected, and then come back down again. That's usually what they do. Right, so take note of that one. So whole point is to avoid, and you rejected that. Then we go on to 2nd of June. You can see bottom fishing in here, right? Price below 47 cents will be more suitable. Good volume in here. Only one stock fits in approved in here is Leong Hap International. Okay, good turnover greater than 250k. Right, Leong Hap is the one that is approved. Then we go on to the chart. So first, you want to approve on the screener, then you go on to your chart. And on Leong Hap, you can see 31st of May, which is on the right hand side. First thing comes to your mind will be the 20 and 40-day moving average. You can see those are in the downward trend. And also the 200-day moving average is sloping downward too much. This is the 200-day moving average. So when you slope too much, you want to avoid this. Market stages above zero horizontal, so that's okay. W, you have a double bottom, 1 and then 2. All right. So that's fine. So in that case, you would have rejected LHI, Leong Hap. Now on hindsight, again, you can see this is where we spotted Leong Hap here on the 2nd of June. It did hit the 200-day moving average. You see that? That was the 200-day moving average. That was when the poultry, the government allowed them to raise their prices. You can see this was a upthrust bar, and usually when you see upthrust bar, next day, close the trade, okay, right? But if you have bought it here, you would have closed the next day. You still make some little bit of money, but if not, you would have avoided that. Then you will keep your powder dry, more money. So that was rejected. Now I was looking for some trades, so we want to be trading, especially when the green Pentagon, okay, which means the KLCI is in green Pentagon when market was bullish. So we turn back, going further back to March, okay, and on the 17th of March. We have M cement, okay, and if you turn on to bottom fishing here, you will find these two. And one of the things that I'll just show you how to do that is what month was that? Sorry, this was 17th of March. So you go back to 17th of March, which is the green Pentagon. You notice. So this is what we talk about the blue. This is when the KLCI turned green Pentagon. The orange one when it's red Pentagon means going downwards. So 17, click submit. Right, and you get a whole host. So there's about 62 entries. Keep in mind, there are 62 entries here. So when you just use the bottom fishing, only left with one only. See how simple is it? You can also try the others. We will keep another day for another trade for this one here. All right, then you have the above stage 2. All right, so we go to bottom fishing, only one left. So from a filter of 62 trades that we have, you only filter one. So this bottom fishing method, I hope you all like it, especially our members. And for those of you who want to have a chance to try it out, just watch to the end. We'll give you a free 10-day trial worth $288 to try it out. All right. So M Cement is one of the stocks that we have here. So you can see M Cement satisfied our criteria. So above 47 cents, so okay. Volume is slightly less than 5,000, but at least the turnover is about 1.1 million. So it makes up. Now it's important why we want to have a high volume here is to ensure that these stocks are not easily manipulated. Just imagine if it's only 10 volume, turnover will be less, isn't it? Like 200-300 ringgit, I can manipulate. So you come in, you kena con lah. So make sure you want to have a high turnover, just like what we say, lot of good floating shares, right? That will work in your favor. Okay. And this one is approved. So let's take a look on the chart visibility here. So it's below 200. If you look back on 31st of March, this is this bar here, 20 and 40 is actually sloping up. You can see, right? And this market is not going down. The 200-day moving average is actually sloping sideways, pretty good. Market stages is above the zero horizontal line, but it went through to the red line. So just be a bit careful in here. And we have a double bottom. You can see 1 and 2. 1, 2. So 2 double bottom here. So this one approved. So if you look at it, Pentagon Guider spotted it. And through that criteria, from 62 shares, we filled up to 1. Make it so much easier. At 238, 17th of March, the entry, we enter the next day. Right? And it did hit a high within 15 bars, or close to about a month, with a 21% profit. And you all know, after hitting just short of $3, the market went back down. Now it's around $2.20 because of the market bullishness. That's what I said before. A lot of the time you notice in here, when the market crossed to the 200-day moving average, this is the 200-day moving average, there's a lot of fireworks. Pop, 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 pop. And this is where we want to be cabut. When people buy, we cabut. Understand now? That's where smart money comes in, and that's where we... So let's look into the exit strategy. Now, of course, for our members, if you are our members, you will receive the balance of the exclusive rules in here. But let's talk about the public. Since the public in here, you want to exit if the price bar close below the 20-day moving average and stay for 5 or 10 bars, but it could not rally after it enter. This is where the market continue to go down. You want to be out. Okay, but if the market go down and have 1 bar up, then you stay with it. But if the market is like that, have a reversal, go up, reversal, continue to go down, you want to exit immediately, because that tells you that bottom fishing trade is not working out. All right, the remaining of the rules will be for our members. So watch those in the knowledge center here. Okay, for the public, I just share one of the rules that we have. Okay, so why bottom fishing works is because we are talking about end of accumulation period. We are looking at the new market cycle because the earnings are coming in usually in the market quarter in here, right? And the win rates is going to give you a nice 75% read in here. And you have seen some of those growth rate that we have. M-Cement, a 21%, potential 21% return, and Jackson 36%. So through the criteria that we have from the ST in LT, we are able to narrow it down for you from 62 to 1. Just one of those examples that we have in here. Now, bringing out the best from our members has always been one of our goal in here. So in our Trade VSA 20-day live trading challenge, which is ongoing, starting from June the 20th. Now, in the first week, I reported some of the winner in 1 week make about 5.8%. Congratulations to Lee Mayfen, James Chu, Rosalind, Eric, Alex, Vince. So on the second week, when we have our next update, we have a new winner here, Eric and also Lee Mei Feng. They have hit more than 10% in 2 weeks. All right, so that is very good in our opinion here, considering the market during the 20th of June to 1st of July is very bad. They are able to get into those groups. Of course, there are some other members in here. Many of them are significantly about 1 or 2% above the zero return, but they're not doing too bad considering the market is off. So they have learned to avoid some of the bad shares. And if you are listening and watching right now, what are your strategies to avoid some of those bad shares and get into the good shares? Just like what we just shared with you on the bottom fishing trade here. Now, this is a chance for you to get yourself a Trade VSA worth 1,000 ringgit free. Now, share your feedback and the lesson learned tonight from this bottom fishing in our Google review. So if you share that, you have a chance. We will select the best winner, right? 3 winners for a 3-month free membership that is worth 1,000 ringgit. So go ahead, give us your feedback on tonight's lesson. What have you learned tonight in here? Okay, so we continue to give good repo. And for our members, if you bring another members in here, you will only pay 65% on your next renewal. Lots of discount, lots of benefit, and when you share with your friend, they will also benefit too in here. And of course, unlike others, VSA has many other other benefits. We have the intraday, which we talked about last week, and this week we talk about the stock screener. We have a lot more coming soon, so make sure you join us every Wednesday, which will teach you how to make better decisions. And this is Martin here, signing off, as we are the main developer and creator for our proprietary VSA 360 in here. Follow the smart money with green and red bandagon. Now, of course, for those of you who wanted to try it out, what we just talked about in here, the bottom fishing criteria. Here's a QR code for a 10-day free trial worth $288 and schedule for meeting. So scan that. So our second benefit freebie for you. The first one is share your feedback from what you have learned, and you will win a 3-month membership. You can also check it out, our 10-day free trial. Lots of benefit for those of you who continue to stay on. And if you are ready, subscribe to our VSA 360 for just $2 a day, giving you a first mover advantage on KLSE and more also on the US market. And for those of you who's joining us tomorrow for our SIDC CPE 10 points, I'll see you at 9 o'clock for VSA with modern value investing and using FA to support your trade. Okay, and don't forget to join our Telegram chat room for all our stock market information in here. And your feedback is important to us, where you give you a chance to win. All right, let's look into the question in here. I always thought that the GB location is defaulted to locate below the price. Never thought it would be viewed below as 200. Okay, on Kevin Sim is because we are trading below 200-day moving average, because that's where the bottom fishing are located. All right, so I hope that answered that. For Amir, what's the difference between bottom fishing and catching falling knife? Oh, that's a lot of difference. Bottom fishing is the part or the market is ready to move higher, like the example that we just showed you, M cement in here. Catching falling knife, you're averaging down and down and down. Now, of course, this wouldn't cause many confusion if you are in our regular talk, which you've been following anyway, right? This is something that we clarified in our member section in here and also in our knowledge center. Hope you have a chance to join our thing and also try out our 10-day trial to find out more what you will get in our VSA 360 and also our knowledge center in here. So don't forget, that's all we have for tonight. If you have any other questions, do pencil those in there. I'm happy to answer them. If not, I'll see you later. Thank you for watching and thank you for your time. Bye-bye.